Ever get that feeling, like you've kind of beaten the game, reached all the goals, checked everything off the list, but still feel kind of stuck? Like, is this it?
Yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Hmm. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today with this Christian Robo Novak guy. Fascinating story.
Yeah.
This guy, he's worked with INA, right? He's been on Romanian TV, made a killing, I guess, with cryptocurrency.
Yeah, he's done it all, really, which is what makes this piece we're looking at so interesting. Because on paper, this is it, right? This is the dream life a lot of people would kill for.
Yeah, totally, totally.
But what he's really getting at with this piece is like, what's next, After you've hit all those outward markers of success, this what? What's the play? How do you find the deeper meaning, the real deal fulfillment, even when like everyone's telling you, dude, you've already won?
And it's got this really interesting analogy to explain it all, this whole Diablo dilemma thing.
Right, right.
Now, before we lose anyone who hasn't spent like a shameful amount of time in sanctuary,
right, sure.
It's actually a pretty insightful way to understand this really universal thing, human experience kind of thing.
Absolutely.
He talks about hitting this point in Diablo, in the game, where you're just too good. Like you're just grinding pointlessly for gear, for XP, but it doesn't actually, get you anywhere new.
Oh, I know it well. The gear grind is real, man.
Right. So it's relatable, even if you're not, a hardcore gamer or whatever.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, haven't you felt that way? Like just going through the motions, you're hitting the milestones. Yeah. But are you really moving forward? I don't know. I mean, it makes you think, right? Careers, relationships, even just personal goals. It's like you hit a certain point, you achieve what you set out to, and then it's like, now what?
Now what? Exactly. And that's what I think is so insightful about this whole thing that Christian's laid out. He's saying what, like, a lot of us are afraid to even think, right? Like just getting more stuff.
Right.
Whether it's loot and game or, I don't know, awards, whatever, in real life doesn't equal happy.
Nope.
It's not the same as feeling fulfilled,
Totally. It's like he's saying, okay, yeah, I climbed to the top of this ladder, but what if I want to be on a whole different mountain range, you know?
And that is a scary thing to realize.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it means, maybe the whole ladder was the wrong ladder.
It could be. Yeah. It means rethinking the whole thing, right? Challenging how we even define success in the first place.
Exactly.
Like maybe the corner office, the followers, the big house, maybe those things, they're not actually the things, Like deep down, what we actually want, what we value.
And the thing is, he's not running from that, which is kind of amazing.
No, he's leaning right in.
He's like straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like everyone around me is still in the lobby.
Yeah.
And I'm way past that, which is, I don't know, it's kind of an amazing thing to just put out there.
It is. And it's something, honestly, I think a lot of people who are like kicking ass in their own lanes, they feel that,
Yeah, for sure.
That sense of being a little out of sync, even though ironically, it's because you did the thing, right? You hit the goals you were all gunning for.
Right.
So then it's like, how do you stay connected, when you're on totally different wavelengths? It's tricky.
It is. Tough one. It's like he's playing on, I don't know, a harder difficulty setting or something.
Yeah, kind of. And not everyone can hang at that level,
Right. And it makes you wonder, like, is that just part of the deal? When you push past a certain point, you're kind of on your own.
It can feel that way, yeah. Happens all the time, really, when you think about it. Anyone who steps outside the box,
Yeah, true.
Artists, entrepreneurs, those folks, they're always going to run into some resistance, especially when they're shaking things up, challenging how it's always been done.
Right. And I guess learning to deal with that feeling of being misunderstood or even just alone, it's part of the path for those folks, huh?
It's the price of admission for trying to do something new, something that matters.
And Christian, he seems like he's like really leaning into that.
Oh, yeah.
He's got this whole thing about how he sets up his space when he wants to, shift his mindset, make a change.
No kidding. What's he doing?
Candles, specific scents, the whole 9 yards. It's almost like a ritual or something.
Wow. That's actually kind of brilliant when you think about it. The power of being intentional with your environment, We never really think about it, but
it's huge, right?
It totally influences how we think, how we feel, how we act, the whole thing. So he's basically hacking his own brain right now.
Totally. By creating this whole vibe that supports where he wants to go.
Exactly. He's designing his own growth, essentially. Love that.
It's like this whole personal transformation thing. It's like a quest in itself.
Yeah.
atmosphere and all that.
They're not, right.
And it made me think about that whole sunk cost thing we were talking about before.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Because here's this guy, he's like, by all accounts, he's won the game.
Right, right.
But he's still willing to walk away from all that, to leave that comfort zone, to go after something, I don't know, truer to himself, I guess.
That's the thing about that sunk cost trap, man. It gets us all. It's not even really about the time or the money or whatever you put in. It's the identity, you know?
Oh, for sure.
We get so stuck on the story of who we are based on all those choices that it's terrifying to let go, even when it's not working anymore.
Man, it's so true. So then how do you break out of that? How do you know when it's time to, I don't know, level up, rewrite the rules of the game, even if it means...
Start over.
Yeah, even if it means leaving a part of yourself behind, that's kind of tough.
It is. It is. Takes guts, that's for sure. I think it starts with asking yourself the hard questions, being brutally honest, like, why are you really on this path?
Right.
Is it because you actually care about it or because you've just put in too much to quit now, you know?
And that's a tough conversation to have with yourself, especially when you've tied your whole sense of self-worth to the, I don't know, the external validation, the stuff you've accumulated.
You can be scary facing that unknown, taking that leap. But man, when you realize that you get to choose, you get to decide what success really means to you.
Yeah.
That's powerful. That's real freedom right there.
And it's funny, you know, Christian actually mentions how some people were like, you should have just stayed on TV, you know? At least people would see you.
That's crazy.
Like visibility equals success, even if you're miserable.
It's that whole external validation thing, man. It's insidious.
It really is.
We're so conditioned to want that recognition, you know? Likes, followers, all that. It's easy to forget who you are without it.
Yeah. So how do you, I don't know, how do you tween that out? How do you get to that place that Christian seems to be going for, where it's not about the outside noise, where you're just doing your thing, you know, from a place of real purpose?
I think it starts with getting real with yourself, you know? Like what actually matters to you? What lights you up? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? And then the hard part, you got to actually act on it. Make choices that reflect that, even if it means going against the grain, even if it means people don't get it.
And sometimes that means like completely rethinking the game you're playing, doesn't it? Christian talks about hitting this apogee. I had to lift that one up.
Yeah.
Basically, it means like the highest point. You know, like he's reached the peak of this mountain, but...
There's a whole mountain range out there.
Exactly. It's like he's ready for a whole new set of challenges, but he's got to, I don't know, create them for himself.
Yeah, it's scary, man, to walk away from something when it's working, even if it's not really fulfilling you.
Right. Like, why rock the boat, right?
Yeah, exactly. But to really grow, to find that next level, sometimes you have to rock the boat. You got to be willing to embrace the unknown and trust that there's something even better out there waiting for you.
So to everyone out there, you know, who's feeling that Diablo dilemma that we've all felt, remember, you get to choose.
You get to level up on your own terms.
Don't be afraid to rewrite the rules of the game.
And never stop exploring.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive.
Until next time.